With the Golden State Warriors' last win of the regular season, they do end 46-36 in the NBA regular season, and now they're focused on the play-in matchup, which is exactly what we're going to talk about here on Warriors today. But first, I want to ask you guys, grade the Warriors 2023-24 NBA regular season A through F. You guys get to be the teacher on how you think the Warriors played this season. Put your critiques down low and let me know what you guys think. The Warriors have officially secured the 10th seed in the NBA Western Conference. They are going to be playing the Sacramento Kings on Tuesday night for a must-win or go-home game against a familiar foe in California. I'm going to be breaking down my keys to the game, also giving you guys a Steph Curry injury update along with a Kings injury update ahead of that matchup, which will take place on Tuesday, which we will be live for on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Let's go on ahead and give you guys all the full details, right? The good news is the Golden State Warriors will actually be traveling to Sacramento for this game. More on that in just a few moments, but this will be played at 7:40 p.m. Pacific time. I love Pacific time. I think it's great. You guys have a must-see game in the books for the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday, April 16th. Hopefully, they will not be lighting the beam in Sacramento, as the Warriors do have a lot to offer in this game. As you guys know, this will be a matchup between the Kings and the Warriors, which was the first round of the NBA playoffs last season, where the Warriors did win in a 7-game series. So the Kings are going to be coming, but here is why the Warriors are actually traveling to Sacramento is because, yes, they did end up with the same record, but the Kings do own the tiebreaker over the Golden State Warriors. They beat them twice out of 3 times this season, so obviously that does give them the upper hand, which puts them at the 9th seed. When you take a bigger look here at the Western Conference, you will see that right there, the same exact records, 46-36, 10th and 9th place. The Lakers did secure that 8th seed against the New Orleans Pelicans with the 7th seed. The winner of that game will move on to the NBA postseason, but if the Warriors do win, well, then they got something cracked out for them. Let's go ahead and break down what is actually at stake for the Golden State Warriors. If the Warriors win, they will play the loser of the Lakers versus Pelicans play-in game. If the Warriors lose against the Kings, season's over. Thank you for everything we've done. We'll now start preparing for 2024-25 season. If the Warriors win the second game, then they will be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA first-round playoffs of the 2024 season. So those are possible outcomes for the Golden State Warriors. What's ahead for Tuesday's game? The good news is that I personally believe the Golden State Warriors do better when they're on the road. A, the fact that their record shows that, and B, is why I'm glad they did not end up getting the 9th seed. That means they would start off at the Chase Center, and I just think the Warriors feel more comfortable on the road. They're always saying, it's us against them. We're by ourselves there. We have to come together. And the way the Warriors have been playing, obviously it shows. That's why when they have to go and take on the Sacramento Kings at their home turf, it'll definitely be pretty interesting. And plus, it's not that far for Warriors fans to actually have to travel, so I do feel like that stadium will be split 50-50 between Warriors and Kings fans. Now, I have a huge question to ask you guys before I hop into my keys of the game. Is just be honest with me. Do you think the Warriors have a chance to make the playoffs? They got to get through not one but 2 games, 2 very tough games, to enter into a very tough first round of the NBA playoffs. So type Y for yes, type N for no. Like I said, I'm going to break down my keys to victories over the Sacramento Kings. I have a huge Steph Curry injury update for you, and also going to be breaking down some of the injury updates for the Sacramento Kings. But first, I got to tell you guys about Prize Picks right ahead of the NBA playoffs. If you guys want to go ahead and get started, just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. And when you get there, just pick between 2 to 6 players and pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and that's how you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, the Masters entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. These are my picks for the games that happened earlier today. As you guys know, every single NBA team played today. I had Peyton Pritchard having more than 22.5 points, which was really good. He had 38. Luke Cornett, less than a steal. It actually happened. but Kelly Oubre Jr. did not produce despite Joel Embiid not playing today, so he didn't have more than 17.5 points, but that's okay. That's why you test your skills. Just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use your promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. They've got weekly promotions. They can use Apple Pay, and they've got quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. That's what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Pick more, pick less. It is truly that easy. The Sacramento Kings do not have Kevin Huerter or Malik Monk playing in this ball game against the Warriors on Tuesday. Malik Monk has been ruled out for 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL tear, which that was reported on March 30th, and Kevin Huerter did have season-ending surgery, which he will be out for the remainder of the season. He will be ramp up and get prepared for 2024-25, which is actually a very good thing for the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, we hope those two players do recover very well for their own team's sake, but in terms of the Warriors' sake, this is what they did last year against the Warriors in a 7-game series in the first round. Malik Monk obviously produced a lot more than Kevin Huerter did in this 7-game series, but you can never rule out a shooter like Kevin Huerter. They were up there in rebounds, 4 and 5 per game. Malik Monk popped off from the bench, 19 points a game. Their field goal percentage wasn't the best, nor was their three-point percentage, obviously, but like I said, Malik Monk, he averaged 19 points a game. That's going to be huge for the Kings, who are going to have to make that up. They've learned to adjust without Kevin Huerter, but to not have Malik Monk is something the Kings are going to have to adjust to when they start to play Warriors who have a lot of offensive weapons. And we do know that Golden State Warriors played a 7-game series versus the Sacramento Kings last year, and I'm going to be honest, the Kings are looking really good right now, especially Sabonis, who is doing incredible work. So he is one of my keys to victory here in just one moment, but I want to talk about the lethal shooter. I mean, he signed to Steph Curry's brand because Curry believes in everything that De'Aaron Fox does, and I really do get a Curry sense of style when I watch De'Aaron Fox play. And ultimately, my #1 key to victory here is containing him around the perimeter. We know how lethal De'Aaron Fox can be, but let me break down just what exactly he does against the Warriors specifically. In these 3 games that he has played this season against the Warriors, I'm not looking at last year right now, the catch and shoot is his weakest point. That is what the Warriors need to try and force De'Aaron Fox to do, which means stay white on rice, tight on your man. Do not give him space. Allow him to not take multiple dribbles when he does intercept that pass in order to try and put it up. Because when he does dribble, he has lethal ball handling skills, and he will pull you down low, do a step back, and have a nice pull-up, which is 47.1% from a three-point line. That is where he is the most lethal to the Golden State Warriors. So whether you are going to have Steph Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, whoever guarding De'Aaron Fox, you've got to really watch those pull-ups. Overall, he does shoot about 41% from a three-point line, so you can only maintain him so much, but this is not a 7-game series. This is a 1 game or your season is over. And right now, De'Aaron Fox is 8th in the NBA in points per game, 26.6 points a game. So obviously, you're not going to hold him to 0. That would be insane. That's not going to happen. So you need to minimize his threat around the perimeter, force him to be uncomfortable, force him to maybe not go so much in the mid-range pull-up area, but more so driving to the basket where that's not his MO. But that's just one of my keys to victory over the Sacramento Kings. Go on ahead and comment yours down below. What's your biggest key to victory? Is it De'Aaron Fox? Is it a Steph Curry? Is it somebody on the Warriors? Or is it somebody like Sabonis? Sabonis scares the hell out of me. I'm going to be honest. What he's been doing this season is record-worthy. He is truly putting the Kings on a map right now when it comes to defensive strategies and the way that he cleans the glass. There is no secret that Sabonis has been leading the NBA in rebounds this entire season. He's averaging 13.7 boards per game. And here's where it scares the hell out of me, is because the Warriors do not have the biggest roster in the NBA. Sabonis is a big man. I would love to have somebody with the width and the strength of Draymond Green and the height of Trayce Jackson-Davis to be able to guard Sabonis, but he's going to take down a lot of players in the NBA, especially since he did take down a lot of players in the NBA when it comes to rebounding. This season, he had 61 doubles in a row. Can you imagine scoring double digits and getting double-digit rebounds every single game? This is the type of level that Sabonis is on. And I don't know if the Golden State Warriors have all the resources to completely knock him out of the race, but they don't have to do it for 7 games. They just have to do it for 1. And when you look at the depth chart, I have really enjoyed Trayce Jackson-Davis's play in the paint. It's almost like Steve Kerr was sensing that the Kings were going to end up in 9th, and that would be a first play-in game, I should say, because he recently moved Trayce Jackson-Davis into the starting lineup and hasn't taken him back out. I love TJD at the 5 and Draymond Green at the 4. I think that means you're going to have the width around that mid-range, around that 6-foot mark, like Draymond Green, have his size, bully him back around the perimeter, force that outlet pass. But if they do make it past Draymond Green, they've got 6'9" Trayce Jackson-Davis, who is the king of blocks, in my opinion, when it comes to Golden State Warriors players. Not to mention, he'll put anybody on a poster on offense. I do think they have the resources to hold him off for 1 game, but it is going to be a physical game to stop Sabonis. And speaking of a physical game, I got to make sure the physicality of Steph Curry is healthy. I understand the Warriors have numerous resources when it comes to offense, but Steph Curry is Steph Curry. And thankfully, he did give an injury update, although Curry did not play against the Utah Jazz in the last game. He was ruled out as rest, but he did give a nice injury update as to why he was not playing and how he's feeling and what's going on, because I'm a little bit nervous that the Kings have already beaten him twice this season out of 3 games with Steph Curry playing. We all know one of those did come from a blown 24-point lead, I believe. I don't remember the exact lead, but it was one of those numerous times this season the Warriors blew their lead and gave it to the Kings. And the Kings, as you know, will not give up against the Golden State Warriors. But Curry has a chip on his shoulder. He said that was a tough pill to swallow, especially when it comes to the Kings, especially a team that they went to 7 games with last year. Wore them out, personally, I think, for the Lakers in the second round. So now Curry has this chip on his shoulder to beat the Kings, but he also wants to be healthy. So when he gave this update saying, look, I rolled it just slightly, but on the scale of all the ankle injuries I've had, this definitely is on the milder side. So it should be all right, which is just music to my ears to hear that Steph Curry is doing all right. I know that he is not going to willingly sit out against a Kings matchup, especially if it's play or go home. That's not who Steph Curry is. And I don't think Steve Kerr would ever put the Warriors in a position to really adjust without Steph Curry this close to the game. So we're hoping that Steph Curry will be okay, but are you worried about Steph Curry's injury? That is my next question for you guys. Go on ahead and let me know down below. We know he's had ankle injuries in the past. We do know that Steph Curry is also very scrappy and very tenacious, so I don't think something as mild as a rolled ankle is going to keep him out. So overall, I'm not worried, but you go ahead and comment down below. My overall take of the Warriors versus the Kings game is that the Warriors will have one of the toughest paths to make their name in the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference. It's a very tough Western Conference. You are going to face teams like the Thunder and the Nuggets in the playoffs if you do make it there. However, you got to win not once, but twice to get there first. The Warriors have won their last 10 of 12 games, and I understand this has been a very up and down season, but the best ball is coming right now. So if I had to put money down on the game, I'm taking the Warriors to beat the Kings, I'm taking the Warriors to beat the Pelicans or the Lakers and make it into the playoffs, because that's just what the Warriors do, man. They win. So my last question for you guys, I promise I'll leave you alone. Type GSW if you want the Golden State Warriors to win. Type SAC if you want the Sacramento Kings to win. Just go on ahead and put your predictions down below. We will be live on Tuesday for that game here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Come hang out with us. Come have some drinks and have a free play-by-play of the game. And as always, if you want to be fully up to date with the Golden State Warriors, all you have to do is hit that sub button for me.